What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with League Racing. It is kind of like League Racing season once again now that Christmas is over. Holiday period is kind of over now. We can get back to some of the awesome racing we have been used to over the last few weeks. So this is SRL Spa. As a brief kind of reminder of like what's been happening in this league. I joined a few races ago after leaving, well, I was going to join this league anyway before leaving ASR, but it just so happened that both of those things coincided together. But yes, this is my second or third race in the series. I currently stand 10th in the drivers' standings. Siri is having a mad one over there. But yeah, New Zealand Ryan absolutely running away with this championship. Warden in second place, 63 points behind, Dominator third. In terms of my overall goal for this season, probably like 6th place, something like that. We'll see. Hopefully we can get a few wins and podiums and edge ourselves closer towards the front. But yeah, for the rest of this season now, this series is ultimately going to revolve around practice for another League Racing website that I've signed up for. If you follow me on Twitter, you will know exactly what website it is. It's pretty exciting, and I will touch upon that later on when I release a video about it. I've already done the race, I did that yesterday, but I'm really excited to show you guys that League Racing Championship as well. But back to Spa. Our opening qualifying lap was 1 minute 44.1. I did a 43.9 in a one-off open lobby with no practice. So I think that lap the other day was actually pretty solid, and this lap was fairly close to that as well. So it was an okay lap to start things off. I think we're P1 at the moment. So yeah, pretty good banker lap, I'd say. We'll lower the fuel, chuck in a brand new set of ultra soft tires. I was actually checking as well on the cooldown lap, what strategies everyone was on. Because it is kind of line ball as to which strategy is faster, starting on the super softs or starting on the ultra softs. I kind of wanted to value track position more, so that's why I'm qualifying on the ultra soft tires, and we'll just race from the front and keep our nose out of trouble. That's going to be the aim. So 2 minutes to go in the session. We'll get one more flying lap in, and hopefully this is good enough for pole position. I do honestly believe we can get pole position today, so we'll see what we can do here. Through turn 1, this is probably the most important corner of the entire lap because it sets you up for the entire first sector, and there's so much free lap time to be gained through there just by getting a nice exit. So we're up by 0.06 of a second over our previous best, and we might go purple to the first sector. Neon Tree Dome has set a 30.3. I'm not too sure what my first sector split is here, but we'll have a nice little reference here as we go into the braking zone. Yes, we're up on his time as well. So purple to the first sector, very nice through here. I think this is Laycom, all 5th gear, nice and flowing through there. We're running with like 1.4 or 1.5 wings around this racetrack, so a very, very low downforce setup. This is ultimately to aid in overtaking, just get that free lap time on the straight. Spa is a massive power track. Through Puon, 7th gear, flat out through there. You can go through there in 8th actually, but it's very, very risky. It is so easy to lose the back end or get caught up on the curve, run wide, and also like you have really low revs, so you don't get as much exit like drive out of there. You have to absolutely nail it for it to be faster in 8th gear through there. But so far we're looking pretty good. A 10th up on our previous best now. And hopefully we can get a little bit more time into the bus stop chicane. This has been a weak point of mine. I realized this in practice, and I still don't know exactly what I'm getting wrong. Maybe I just need to brake harder and rotate the car more so that I can make the second part of the bus stop chicane a bit nicer. 2nd gear through here. I just get a little bit too much understeer. I didn't actually use up all the exit space there. But across the line, it is 3rd place. Under a 10th away from New Zealand Ryan, who snatches pole position in the dying seconds of the session. So we are there or thereabouts. I'm fairly happy with that lap. I actually matched the time that I did the other day when I had no practice and just jumped straight into it after downloading a setup. That was that's actually pretty weird that I was actually straight on the pace the other day with no practice, but here I could only manage that time. I'll be interested to see like what the AOR guys do. I'm not too sure what a really, really solid time is around here. I don't know if that's really competitive or if I'm near my maximum. I did lots of practice, but I couldn't really beat a 43.7. So I'd be really keen to see what like the Flying Fin, Tiara Limitless, and all those guys can do versus us. 5 red lights for this SRL League race around Spa, and away we go. Looks like we got a better start than Neon Trudome, and we might go up his inside heading into turn 1. He's given up the position. He left too much space, and we take P2. He's dropped down to P3. New Zealand Ryan got a really nice exit off of turn 1, so he'll be pretty much uncontested as we head off on this first lap here. Warden has actually sneaked up into 3rd place. I lost the back end there going up Our Rouge. My steering, my force feedback went very light, and I came actually very, very close to losing it all. You would not have thought it, but I was actually crapping myself. Into the braking zone of Lake Com. Warden was up my inside. I had to brake at the perfect moment to get the car pulled up and maintain the position, which we managed to do. So I was very proud about keeping in front of Warden there. But Ryan, after his very nice exit off of turn 1, all of a sudden, looks like he might be struggling a little bit on heavy fuel. I took the liberty of doing some practice on heavy fuel just before the race started, and I do have a general feel of what the car can do. So I'm rating my chances early on here because Ryan is really struggling to come to terms with his heavier car. He's actually running with 3.5 laps extra worth of fuel, whereas we only started with just under 2 laps. So there is a bit of a weight advantage here, and we slide up the inside into the bus stop chicane and into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Still side by side with Ryan though, but I think we will maintain this lead. It would be a bit silly for Ryan to overtake me into turn 1, and he'll wait for DRS and possibly get me back here on the Kemmel Straight. So he hasn't got DRS, it's only lap 2. He goes to the outside, and this is a really good drag race to see who's running lower downforce. It's very even as we run into Lake Com. Literally contact, wheel-to-wheel contact as we go into the braking zone there. It doesn't get any closer than that, and we actually both survived. We both threw up the hand in frustration, but you know, in all honesty guys, I love racing with Ryan. You'll see in my league race in a couple more days or a week or whenever it is, we battled Ryan in that race too, and we had an absolute cracker. I've raced Ryan so much over the last year to 6 months, and every time we've managed to keep it clean. I don't know how, but we just seem to have a lot of respect for each other, and it enables some really, really good racing. But as we head on to lap 3 now, I think Ryan is going to have DRS here. We're in rich rev still, but he's got a super run through Our Rouge, and he's going to go to the outside, so he might take the lead here. And if he gets in front of me, I think I might just concede and save a little bit of fuel. So that's what we're going to do. Down to lean revs. We'll let Ryan take the lead. I mean, I could have fought it a little bit harder, but to be honest, it's early days. And you can see we're starting to build a gap to the cars behind. And I thought, if Ryan really wants to lead that desperately, I'll let him take it. And we'll follow him through and save a little bit of fuel in the process. Putting Ryan under pressure as we head on to Puon. He feels that pressure, and he has gone off and lost the lead. That's exactly what I did. That is exactly a carbon copy of what I did in the practice race the other day. He's just got a little bit too greedy, maybe feeling the pressure behind from me, trying to take a little bit more curb to build a gap to me, and he's made a mistake. He's gone over the sausage curb, and that's completely thrown him offline and down the order a little bit. He's in 3rd now. So yeah, that was my moment. This is my moment now to strike and pull away from Warden. The gap is around 1.7 seconds. Last time I checked, as we head towards the pit window, setting fastest laps in the process. Tyres are up at 50-odd%, and yeah, this is the point where they're really starting to go off. Ryan is actually pitted just now. I was really contemplating pitting as well, but since I had a gap, I think it was actually 3 seconds to Ryan just before he pulled into the pit lane. I thought, yeah, we can go another lap and put on the soft compound tyres, and we'll have much fresher tyres for the rest of the Grand Prix, and we should still have a little bit of a lead, maybe a second and a half, and that should really give us the upper hand heading into the rest of this race. So heading into the pit lane now, a bit of a loss at the back end. The tyres were really, really sketchy at this stage. Into the pit lane, don't speed. I really did not want to speed and throw away everything that I've worked so hard to get to at this point. It would be so silly to concede a 5-second stop go. But into the pits now, soft compound tyres, no front wing change, and it is 2.7 seconds. So a little bit slower than what you'd normally anticipate for an online pit stop. I think a good pit stop is like 2.5, 2.4 seconds. Warden sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He undercut us by 2 laps, but he doesn't get the lead. And yeah, we emerge in effective P1 with Roscoe Arm really slow in front of us. He's really been holding us up for this last half lap now, and this is all letting Ryan come back into the fray really slow through here, and Ryan is pretty much right behind us now with Roscoe. Hopefully he can get in Ryan's way and cost him a bit of time as what he did to me, but unfortunately for our sake he didn't hold up Ryan. Ryan got past straight away and was instantly in the slipstream. So that was a really frustrating moment. We worked so hard to get that 3-second lead. We did the overcut. We did a blistering like in-lap on dead tires, and now Ryan is back in the game again, thanks to the lap car or the unpit stopped car. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult again to break DRS. The slipstream, you know, although it isn't very potent on this game, the fact that we're running with such low downforce, and if Ryan just sticks it in rich revs, he can. It's pretty easy for him to stay within 1 second. So we're gonna have to work really, really hard to break out that gap. I'll have to wait for him to make a mistake, but for the early laps of this stint, I was just phasing in the tires and just building my confidence a little bit. And as we got to lap 11, I think this is the point where I started to push and see if I could break out of that 1 second DRS magical window. If we can break out of 1 second, I know we can pull away and win this race. So that's the goal now. Rich revs now through the middle sector. My fuel strategy was running in rich revs on the first like all through sector 1, and then in sector 3 on the run up to the bus stop chicane, I was running in lean revs heading into Laycom normally. But now that we're running with you know, a really fast pace, we're running with rich revs pretty much everywhere, trying to burn whatever fuel we have and make the car lighter and just pull away. You can see the gap is now 1.1 seconds, and that was progressively over the course of 2 or 3 laps, just running in rich revs, trying to, you know, break out that gap. But you'll watch now, the gap was 1.1 seconds. You'll see at the end of this first sector split, the gap is 8 tenths. So even though Ryan didn't get DRS, the slipstream was still potent enough from 1 second back to drag him in by 2 tenths. So that was quite frustrating. And as we head on to lap 14, you can see I've lost DRS myself. So from here, we are committed to the end of this race to stay in front of Ryan, because if Ryan gets in front of us, we won't have DRS. And I don't think that was fixed for the rest of the Grand Prix. So our race now hinges on us maintaining the lead. So yeah, I tried for many laps to, you know, break away from him. It just wasn't happening. And then it got to a point here on lap 15 where I just kind of gave up the idea of trying to pull away. I started to save a little bit of fuel. I've gone back into my normal race regime, and so now as we head into Laycom in the middle sector, we'll be running with all lean revs and just saving enough fuel for the final few laps where I can just push maximum and make sure he doesn't get in front of me. So that's ultimately the goal now. It's a big stalemate at this stage, just making sure I don't make mistakes, just trying to push on as much as I can. There's just incredible amounts of pressure from Ryan being applied from behind, but at the same time, I was actually very composed. I knew I was in control, and I knew that I had this like sneaking suspicion in like the back of my mind. I knew that Ryan wouldn't be able to overtake me. I just had it kind of locked down, if that made sense. I was nailing every lap, nailing every apex. I wasn't making any mistakes, and Ryan couldn't get within 5 tenths, which is kind of the danger zone of being overtaken. So we were just fast enough through the middle sector to keep Ryan at bay. I think it was probably down to fresher tyres, but yeah, we were just in control right up until this point on lap 19, where we had a little lock-up into the bus stop chicane. That put me under a little bit more pressure, and it was actually a little bit scary as well, because I didn't do anything different to the previous 20 attempts into the bus stop chicane. Yeah, we had a massive lock-up, so for the last 2 laps heading into that corner, I was braking a little bit earlier and a lot more conservative. But yeah, overall we still maintain the same gap that we have at the moment. The fuel is still at 0.3, so we can afford to probably run in maximum fuel mixture or rich revs for the final 2 laps, and that'll allow us to run uncompromised to the end of the race. So as we head on to the last lap here, you can see Ryan isn't really within touching distance. We saved enough fuel to be able to push on the last lap, and that's what we're doing. We're actually extending the gap a little bit to almost a second. We'll have a look at the middle sector split in a few corners time. You can see here, even on the last lap, even though the tyres are well past their best now, I think they're very close to 50%, maybe even 60%. But we're still able to push quite hard. Every lap it said I was going purple through the middle sector, but as we came to the start-finish line, it said we were half a second down. I don't know what was going on there, but I didn't really care. All I cared about was winning this race, and it looks like that is what is going to happen after we negotiate just a couple more corners. A lot of graining on the tyres, a lot of pressure from Ryan behind, but we've managed to withstand it all and win our first league race in what has seemed like a very, very long time. Our first race win for SRL, and a much needed one indeed. Thank you guys so much for watching. 2018, first league race of the year, and we managed to take the W, so pretty happy with that. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more league racing content. Like I said, I have signed up to another league racing website, and this league is essentially going to be practice for that. But yeah, when we head to this racetrack in the other league, I'm feeling actually very, very confident. But congrats to New Zealand Ryan as well in second place. He really kept me honest the whole race. The gap to third place, I think, was pretty monumental. I think it might have been like 15 seconds. So the two of us, we were just pushing each other so hard over the course of the race, and we just kind of broke away from the rest of the field. I think Warden had some issues as well, which made the gap elongated a little bit more than what it normally would have been, but pretty much a perfect race from us. No mistakes. I think, well, really the only mistake I made was probably carrying on the extra lap that I did in the pit window, and then also the lock-up into the bus stop chicane. That was literally it. A pretty good race in the end. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You got to see a bit of an insight into what it's like to have a race-long battle at the front for the lead, and just some of the tactics you have to employ at certain points in the race to get the upper hand. Something I don't normally get to show off all too much, because most of the time in all my videos, I'm always in the pack, and I'm always kind of chasing people down. So it was kind of good to have that really good dynamic where we're fighting so close at the front. But driver's standings, we've only moved up to 9th, believe it or not. We've only moved up 1 place despite getting a race win. But we sit on 47 points. The next person ahead of us in the championship is Neon Tree Dome, 64 points. So we'll probably need another race win and hope that he gets like a DNF. That's the only way we're going to move up anytime soon. But like I said, it's not about the championship. It's about getting the practice in, getting some experience, and doing better in the other league. But that's it for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And until the next one, I'll see you next time.